horse drifted alarmingly in the betting was, Felsted in the morning, continued to drift. It was late on the exchanges to lose. It was something you'd see in a Dick Francis novel, Charles Buttons.
The ground is soft. It's
heavy.
It's soft on times.
It's heavy.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to yet another Sunday sermon. And a thank you we're going to start the show off with to all our listeners. We've been looking at the data and the stats, and you've shoved us through the 5,000 mark now on a regular basis, which I think that's quite a tremendous achievement from scratch. No promotion in terms of heavy marketing, retweeting.
No bookie money, eh? No bookie
money. Send
money.
Yeah. So we want to thank every listener for doing that. And we've resisted the temptation to use ads because what we'd earn out of it and it'd just lessen your listening pleasure. So thank you very much to you all. This podcast, of course, is sponsored by Cook on Sunday, who's having a week off this week, but we'll be back next week with a new show. So it's certainly one to be looking forward to. Joining me as always to chew the fat and talk absolute rubbish for about an hour. It's me, Lee Keys, John Lang and Chris. Good evening, chaps.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, it's an action-packed show this week. Plenty to talk about. Quite a few shit apes to mention this week. So apologise if we get a little bit ranty this week, but needs must. Where you need a little rant, that's fine, as well as humour mixed in and satirical behaviour and naughty behaviour from all us three. Without further ado then, let's go on to the racing review, John, which featured Ascot yesterday. Haydock managed to get on, which you described about Haydock's magic turf. What's all that about, John?
Well, I don't think David Blaine could have pulled this off as clerk of the course.
Yeah.
We start off on Saturday morning with barely raceable, gonna need to have another look at 11, woe is me, I'm off for a 10-hour crying wank and all the rest of it. Nothing but misinformation, really, because I think it was 2 races in, the ground becomes good to soft. What the actual fuck?
Yeah, Haydock getting its ground descriptions quite wrong quite often at the moment. And it's like the ghost of Seamus Buckley at Goodwood, but this is the ghost of Kirkland now at Haddock. If you've been trained up by Kirkland, then who knows? But
You know clerk's called Cooper? Is he or she not?
I think so. He's not that old, is he? I don't think he's that.
No.
He's not ancient like some of them are.
Would he be about the right age to have sprung from the lines of another Cooper that we know?
Cooper Clark, I don't know. I hadn't looked into him, to be honest. But they did manage to get it to go ahead. So, okay, we'll start off at Haydock. Just looking, I think we'll look at just maybe 1 or 2 races there. Certainly the Albert Bartlett Prestige hurdle we're going to look at. And Dalston Lad was the winner for Dan Skelton. Had the complete run of the race. I like this horse's progression, but when you consider he's only 25s for the Albert Bartlett on the back of that, and he's had 2 made holes or handy round Haydock, which suits that kind of running style because it's tight. I much preferred the second in it, Uber Tuber, because that came from the back. And the problem with Uber Tuber, though, it's ridden by Ben Sutton, who can't claim in graded races, and he needs all of his £5 to be even considered to be betting him. So that's the negative with Uber Tuber, because obviously his dad buys horses for him to ride, which is fair play. David Maxwell did it for himself. So, look, that's their prerogative. But if that horse had professional handling, Uber Tuber would be, I think, a very good animal. Certainly better than the winner. So Dalston Lad, I'm immediately ruling out for any kind of Cheltenham race. What's your thoughts?
I only mentioned 1 horse in this race in my notes, and that was the 3rd horse, Tashcan, of Brian Ellison's.
Yep.
I simply could not believe the stewards didn't look into the running riding of this horse. I thought it was an absolutely deplorable ride from Brian Yowes.
Right, as in just never in the race?
Never actually asked to get into a challenging position. I thought it was absolutely disgusting. I've seen some bad rides this year. That is right up there, I'm afraid. And for stewards not to even ask a question, I thought was absolutely ridiculous. You know, I mean, he might have been told to hold up till whatever, but there was absolutely no attempt to win that race for me. I mean, he just sat out the back, and there was no movement from the saddle till all chance had absolutely gone, and he's run on there and finished 3rd.
I'll have to watch that back because I mean I've watched it back once, but I was just mostly concentrating on Uber Tuber. But
It was astonishing, that, honestly.
isn't Tash Khan one of them horses though that he's a bit of a Lord Mayor's show type?
Ponce, isn't it a Ponce?
Yeah.
Don't you need to kid it along, and
I mean,
maybe it looks like it's a non-jigger, but it's just a soft fucker.
It's won one Exham Novice Hurdle, 10th of December 25. You have to go back to 30th of September 2023 for its last win at Chester. So it's one of them horses. I just think he's a bit of a thief.
I think if you're adding a face value, I think you can share better than that. Really.
Yeah, maybe. For me, he's just not one I'd be interested in because I think the market might pick up on him next time for what your very reasons.
Probably will.
Right? Yeah. And he's just not a horse that you can place much faith in because look at the previous two starts.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was just of all the horses in that race yesterday that absolutely poked my eye out of the ride it got.
Fair play.
Fair enough.
In the Grand National Trial, the Grand Jess was successful. Neo King in third, I think, is a really progressive stayer. I think it just didn't click for him. He got too far back at one point and he stayed on really strongly. And whilst it wasn't strong enough, I think this horse is going to win a big staying race one day for the Welsh. I think he's feasibly weighted. He won't go up much for that, finishing third. And Neo King is one for me that I'd be looking to support in all these nationals that you absolutely adore, John.
Probably a Midlands or a Welsh, I would suggest.
I think if it came up soft, similar ground or good to soft, I think the Midlands National would be absolutely perfect for him.
Yeah.
Sort of time frame wise, that's about bang on. It's probably about
just about close enough, I would have said.
Possibly, yeah.
To tap in, you might decide to wait for the Welsh.
Put him away next year for the Berkshire National. That's what you should do. They should have the plot it up next year. We just had that, haven't we?
They have got that many national.
Rubbish, isn't it?
They love the game. There's only John out of us lot that can tip up.
He loves it. He fucking loves it.
I know he moans, and then he's landed more like winning tips on our tipping shows in the past than anyone of nationals.
Loves it.
Loves Iders.
Yeah,
says he doesn't.
Yeah,
we
he
know
protests too much.
He's
he
telling
loves
lies.
it.
Telling lies.
Yeah.
Over to Ascot. A couple of things really. Mondui Boy in the opener. This is a horse we put up as an account bet at Ludlow the time before, and it won very easily. It was very well backed at Ascot on Saturday, and I was concerned about the drop in trip, given the fact how well it stayed on in its point-to-point over 3 miles in testing ground, and how well it pulled clear at Ludlow over 2 mile 5 late doors. I thought the 3.5 round that sharp gas hole, I wouldn't necessarily say I thought it'd find it out, but I was less keen to support it at a short price than obviously the price we got at Ludlow. And physically, he's all there. I think he's a class act. We've got to talk about Ben Pauling seriously now. Is he arguably the second best trainer that we've got at the moment? Because the ammo he's pulling out, he's won the King George for Lucky Harry.
You can't count that one though, can you?
No. We slagged him off the other week because he's placing a one at Warwick, a Mambo number 5. In my feelings, this is a really, really good horse. He says Cheltenham's probably too soon for him, and I do hope that he sticks to that and saves it for entry and steps it up to 3 mile, because I think you will see a huge improvement again. And I would be very keen to look at him for the entry race. Is it the Liverpool hurdle, the 3 mile, I think?
I think that's what it's called, yeah.
Yeah, that would be my ideal thing for him. Any of you yourself, John, on him?
I think he's a contender.
Yeah, I love him physically. Yeah,
he just looks a good horse.
Brute of a horse. Question from Rory McAdory, and this is an interesting point because the Sadiq system, innit? A Sadiq. You can't do that anymore. They probably have a minimum rating now for some of these grade 1s and grade 2 sort of chasers. But isn't it worthwhile, like Rory says, if you've got an horse, John, rated something like 130 to 140, you may as well run in these rather than these big competitive handicaps. The reason I say it, because you look at the Reynolds Town.
Yeah.
Crest of Fortune, he just gets onto round in third, picks up $8,000. What's he rated? 137.
There was only a pound between 3.
Yeah, they gave the winner the red carpet, basically. I don't rate the form at all. If they shove the jukebox kid up too much, I'd be taking him on. I think he deserves £5 max for that. Some were saying he might get up to 10 on racing channels, but I think 5 would be fair for that. They absolutely walked round and he just had the race at his mercy, really, from a long way out. Into Rory's point, then we go to the Ascot chase, which we'll comment on in a minute. This was even better because we've got Blow Your Dad, who finished third, and he picks up 19,194. They weren't really interested in winning. They were interested in picking up the bones of the prize money. And even if you finish fourth, you get 9,700.
Fair play to Freddie Mitchell. He got the absolute max out there after finish there yesterday.
You said that. So I looked at the metrics for this race. Blow Your Dad lost 7 lengths to John Bob in the jumping department and 6 lengths to Pete Doherty. So what I'm trying to say is that he's lost 7 lengths to them in the race down to jumping. In inadequate trip for him, he was only beaten 15 and a half lengths. He's rated 142. Now, how do you rate this race then, the Ascot Chase? Because I think John Bonn had a really hard race in the Clarence House. Pete Doherty had a lot to prove after running to 0 last time. What is exactly his form worth? Because it's really difficult to rate. There is no way that John Bonner's run above 166. There is no way that Pete Doherty's run above 162. Do you uprate Blow Your Dad? Or do you say, no, you downgrade John Bonn and Pete Doherty and said neither were at the very best?
I think you've got to downgrade them. So, I mean, I'd have said Pete Doherty's run about 155.
Yeah, I was somewhere around that. It was something like 160 John Bonn, 155 Pete.
Blow Your Dad's nearly hit his mark.
Yeah, you'd say he's run really well. If you said that Freddie Mitchell gave that a belting ride, then that's what puts me off at overrating the front two.
I mean, the fact that he's lost ground at jumping tells me he's just not as good a jumper as them, which the ratings also tell you. Yeah.
Going forwards, I think our listeners want to know what we do, like with John Bonn, etc. And I think, what an horse to own, though. It's just an incredible horse. I feel a bit sorry for him because I think he don't get the adulation that an horse that's 20 from 27 probably deserves. Normally, he'd be like champion to high heaven, but I just don't think he's captured a lot of the public anyway.
JP's horses have to be absolutely tip-top notch, though, don't they? And right up there, Istabraq standard before people really do take to them. Half the time they're wondering whether they're off or not.
Oh, that's right. And the connections, they're all they're not the sort of connections that kind of fire up the public imagination, are they? So, yeah, it's nice. It's nice when billionaire owns another good racehorse. It's not really...
You know, like when you had 162-year-old Noel Lemaire owning Red Rum, you know, it's easy to take to the horse, wasn't it?
Precisely. But JP's operation is so shrouded in secrecy and doublespeak, it makes it very difficult for people to have any kind of emotional connection with any of his runners, really. So it's not surprising, I don't think.
Yeah. John, are you put off by the 2 hard races that John Bonn's had in the Clarence House and there to be considering?
I'm put off for keeps, in all honesty. I think now I don't see him everything he's racing again. I think the horse is absolutely hit his peak. The only way is down. He's always going to be overbet for me, and I can't really envisage any circumstances in the near future for certain where I'd be even contemplating backing him.
Do you know what I'd do if I owned him and he were mine?
Ben Haslam. Stop it for 5 years and then have it spark off.
Be at Sedgefield in them 3 mile 3 handicap hurdles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're listening, JP, buzz us. Yeah, we have plans.
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I would probably prefer a later season target, maybe even Punchestown, something like that. Cheltenham, I would be massively against.
Isn't the one that's 2 mile and a bit on Whitbread there so much?
I think so. I mean, he does well at Sandown, and it's usually a crap race. But the one thing I'd have in mind, given his age, you have one crack at the King George. That's what I'd say. If I were Ender...
He's got to go this year, then, hasn't he?
I think you go for the King George and you said that's what we're going for. Because it's been a bit of a misjudgment with this horse. And some people are going to go, I'm mad for saying that. An horse that's 20 from 27. But you can clearly see that he stays. People will say, it's his heart and all that. Not rubbish. Heart doesn't help you. 2 mile 5 furlongs on good to soft ground. Don't stay. Kempton would suit John Bonn down to the ground. Absolutely. He's good going right-handed. He could lie handy on the pace. No problem. Because he's got 2 mile and 2 mile 5. So he can just sit handy, which is where you want to sit. And that is the ideal race for him. I think John Bonny's our Irish horses that aren't suited to Kempton that are top class. And we saw that this year. And I just feel that that's his swan song, if you like. Cherry on top of the cake. And that's where I'd go, King George. Do you agree or don't agree?
Well, if you're going to do it, it's got to be this year, isn't it?
Well, yeah, 100%. Like, it's the last age where you're 10. Well, you're nearly 11, so going into Desert Orchid territory. What a tremendous racehorse. Very, very pleasant to see him do that. Like I said, I don't think they've ran to form. Maybe I'm being overcritical, but that's the way I saw the race. Moving on, bit of racing stuff. Let's talk drifters and not-offs. And it's really difficult at the moment because, and I'll be honest, I'm liking a lot of horses that are drifting. Some win, some lose. I've seen that in the last few days. I've had someone contact on Patreon that has said he thinks it's down to some modelers that are very, very big punters. Their models usurp. Because the Betfair markets are so weak, these modelers, if they don't like a certain metric on a horse, it will drift. I do believe the Dan Skelton one was very iffy in the betting.
Yeah.
That's Delta Blues Bell at Chepstow on Thursday, I think it was, or Friday, I can't remember. 6-4, and they were laying lumps at 5-1 on the off. Now, modelers, no one's got that 5-1.
Nobody.
An easy last time out winner that was well bet. And then Harry Skelton gives the lead a 20-length start on tapes. Now, no one can prove anything. I don't think it looks good. But then my assessment of that horse that day could have been wrong. And I just could be wrong. Sometimes we have to accept that we are wrong. And the market is just a reflection of that rather than connections saying no. But I saw the lumps going in at 6.2 on the off. They were like 700 quid, 600 quid, 800 quid, just flying in right near the off. And I'm thinking, someone's desperate to take fortunes out of this. And I just thought that doesn't add up because when you're 6-4 in the morning, you shouldn't be falling over yourself to lay one at 5s. Am I right?
Absolutely right. Correct. Exactly, John. It's almost as if someone knew. And that's it. There are drifters and there are drifters. And I think people who've been in the game long enough can tell the difference between the two. Yes, absolutely. The models are very sharp. That they may have a horse at a particular price and a horse will drift for no other reason than, smarter brains think it should be a bigger price. But horses like that drift from fucking 6-4 to go and fuck yourself, or that one, the previous, the Fate Brown.
You've always got away with it with a fucking mare or a filly, won't you?
Yeah, or that other one, 3 on to fucking 7-4 against or whatever, Fate. Those are the drifters where you shake your head. That they are the ones that looked at. That's nothing to do with market correction or modelers or smart people being against it. They're just no good. For whatever reason. Either they've had a physical problem, a big physical problem, or they're just no good.
What do you think, listeners? I know there's some out there that say it's all Ben. I don't think that's quite the case. For example, the one I did like on Saturday, Eton Mess of David Pipes, that was a strong 6-4 chance the night before. Drifted to 9-4 in the morning. I thought, time to play. And that goes off 4-1 on the machine. And it absolutely pissed up.
Yeah.
You can't come from one side of the coin and say, well, you can tell with the market that was bent. It's hard. It's really hard to judge. There's variables that we don't know about. Did the horse get cast in its box? Did it not eat up in the morning? Did it bang its head? Did it cut it? Did it have a nosebleed in the box on the way there?
Yeah.
Is it in a right state before the race? What we can't see because it's in the horse box still waiting to be unloaded. But there's lots of things we can't quantify, and so that's why we have to be objective. But I'd like some of your thoughts on Twitter, YouTube. Post your comments, like and subscribe on YouTube. There's quite a good discussion chat on there with people. It's mostly civilized, apart from when they have a go at us. It's an interesting topic, but I just try and view it objectively. And they always say a bad workman blames his tools, and I try not to go bananas at not-offs, but genuinely I think I've had 3 this week. That's what I think personally. Definitely not been at the races. That's how it is. I might not get one for 2 months now. That's the thing. You don't know. Right, let's talk. I know Chris is not going to want to talk about this, but I think we have to. Constitution.
Oh, dear
Hill.
God. Yeah.
The soap opera that keeps giving and running. This is running as long as EastEnders.
Longer than the Mousetrap, isn't it? Fucking hell.
Will he, won't he? Will he get balloted out of his race on Friday? Bert Doncaster says, how funny would it be if Constitution Hill gets balloted out The authorities' desperation to have him there risks a draw more rigged than the 1927 Liberian election. I'd say Zimbabwe's been more rigged than that when Robert Mugabe was there. But it bores me to tears, I'll be honest. I really don't like talking about it, but I feel that there's that much euphoria about it. I feel I've got to at least say something, or we've got to say something. Constitution Hill, I personally don't think he's got enough speed against a good horse, if there is a good horse lining up against him, over 1.5 miles on the flat. I've looked at his top speeds that he's reached in races over jumps, and I know people say, well, yeah, but he's got to jump hurdles. I know that. But still, this is a horse that, has he got the toe against a good flat horse? John, what is your thought?
I doubt he's got the toe myself, but I do think it'll give Nicky Henderson an idea whether this horse still has the stomach for a day at the races, and I think that's all he wants to find out, to be honest.
Yeah.
It'll be a bent heat. Fuck me. Come on, boys. See it for what it is. It'll be like Declan Murphy's retirement race. Fucking hell.
If Square Necker runs, I don't.
No, all right. If Square Neck runs, fair enough. But anything else, it's a bent neck. Think of that. I think it'll be a crooked heat, and you can have what you want on if Square Neck's not in it.
I think there's a few people here entered horses that's going to be off Popeye's Christmas card list. They've entered some horses here that you just think, well, what the fuck, you know?
Totally.
You know, some of these 100 and 200 folk.
Katie and Dub, I don't think's happy at Mullins.
No.
Doing that for shits and giggles. To be fair, Kilt's had a right go, hasn't he? Kilt's weighed in.
I'm surprised he's only entered one, to be honest.
Yeah, you'd think Kilt's got a few of that, 1.5 miles on.
I'd have thought he might have flooded it and said, fuck it.
Yeah. I know, he's not happy he's the Kilt. Why have they made a special race? Why have they put on lots of prize money? He needs 2 to drop out, which should happen, but let's say it doesn't.
It's going to ruin that Friday night telly, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, no.
Dante could turn up, wanting to double up on that bird.
What, with Jim Crack?
Jim Crack.
You'll have a pocket full of Jim.
Yeah.
And there's no to say when you get there.
Yeah, there you go, listeners. Don't forget to tune in. Regular racegoers will want to see Constitution Hill, but Invades want to see Dante and Jim Crack dating that bird again.
What a fuck! That's humanity come to
Charlie's
this.
Angels on the telly as well.
This is how, as a species, we've come to this. Invade Dante. Absolute shit. Fucking asteroid and wipe us out. That's what I want. Pray for the asteroid.
I read a post from Simon Benson.
Yep.
He said Ascot was brilliant Saturday. A lot of Invades type race goers there. So is it working? But again, this is what we need. We've said last week, data. Oh, producers just told me it was Invades. Invades again. We're at Ascot. Yes, I didn't know that. They'd set that up.
We're like the hoorays round there, aren't they? Was free venue for a party. Of course, it's going to be successful.
Well, how come ITV didn't show any of the Spain dates in there?
Well, there you go. Who knows? ITV might be a bit pissed off at what went on first.
Well, maybe so, but I mean, that's not really fair for those of us that have got right into it and wanted to see the next installment.
You love a soap opera. Fucking loves it. Anything. If you serialise anything, John will watch it, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Box set.
Yeah.
That's what John wanted, weren't it? Idea for a series.
Yeah.
Instead of that Champions series, we're literally going round racing yards and following all poor besieged stable staff that are pissed off with a life and swearing the fuck out of
trainers that's losing £12,000 a month.
Yeah, under pressure, looking at the bills going, can't make this pay.
Yeah.
Top one,
Independent booties that's in the shit.
Yeah.
That's better
pro punters that aren't allowed to bet because of a affordability check.
This stuff writes itself. Come on, commission this. Yeah. This is what people want to see, not some fucking privileged nonsense. You're right.
If David McCallum dead, he could have played a part in
that, you wouldn't have seen him, David McCallum, Invisible Man, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
ITV have responded by doing a Mick Easterby feature.
Yes, John. No, I was going to bring that up. What do you think? You setting the alarm clock for that or whatever when that comes out, if it hasn't already?
Obviously, I haven't heard anything about that, and I'll have to.
You love it. You love it. Honestly.
Yeah. Well,
I don't actually.
Really? Lord. What a surprise.
Yeah. Well, producer bought me some Joe Mason chocolate yesterday, so.
Is it just Joe Mason or who else you got in there?
I think there's another one. Yeah, so the Constitution Hill thing,
It's boring, yeah.
we're bored now, aren't we?
It's
We're
tedious,
100%
isn't
bored.
it?
Producer is updating me. It is,
It's all what?
dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Can't recognise him. Might be Cobden.
Is it?
Could be Cobden.
I'm not keen on that as much.
Well, that's for the ladies, isn't it? Here's one for the ladies.
Is it?
Right, we're coming to Barsha's
All
exclusive.
right.
Again, I'll get slagged off for it because I always do.
Because they're always wrong. You're never right. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Desert Crown, all that.
They're never right.
No.
Sam Twiston-Davies will take over as Paul Nicholls as first stable jockey as soon as Harry Cobden leaves for the green and gold. A pretty obvious one, but given that he rode on Word for him on Saturday, but I can tell you that it's fact.
Yeah.
So, Sam Twiston-Davies will be taking over. Ditchy as number one jockey. On to the next topic. We look at the Racing Purse, really. First thing and foremost about the Racing Purse, they've put the cover price up again to a deplorable rate. I think it's like nearly £6. £6 an edition now.
Do we know anybody that buys it?
Nobody buys.
Apart from bookmakers and odd race goer that maybe go racing, I don't see any point at £6 a day.
No, not at all.
Just a dreadful publication with dreadful journalists. Obviously, the news doing the rounds is Lee Mottershead's put himself into the spotlight, citing that he didn't attend or was not interested in attending or covering the Saudi Cup in Saudi Arabia. Now, I think citing and jumping the gun there, it's something to do with Saudi Arabia's human rights record and this, that, and the other. And what is this virtue signalling going off at the moment, like with people? What is it all about? Because I know for a fact that Lee Mottershead is not the person that he portrays himself in the media and with his virtue. And I'll tell you why in a bit. What I'm trying to say is, why do people do it, Chris? I know you said people play characters, or some people play characters online. Why is it always virtuous? Why is it always that they know they're going to get people to like the person, go and fawn
it's
over
performative, isn't it? Look what a socially aware and sensitive and kind and generous-hearted person I am. I'm not a bigot. I'm not this. I'm not prejudiced. But the reality is, everybody's prejudiced in some respect. But Lee Mottershead said, he's a sort of joy. He reminds me of one of these joyless bureaucrats, right? And if he was a building, he'd be a sort of a feudal keep, wouldn't he? All grey arches and mullioned windows. You could imagine sort of a tiny guttering candle sort of flickering in the window, emitting a sickly light, because it doesn't seem to be a lot to the bloke. He just seems to be pretty pompous, pretty humorless, and that's it. And he's the sort of this kind of character. And, there are others that's like to make known their political viewpoints, and I don't understand it. I mean, but they obviously derive some satisfaction from it, but I don't get it, because every time people in racing express a political opinion, they get ratioed to fuck, don't they? Look at Neveson, Mike Cattermole. As soon as he says, "Oh, I don't like Trump," fucking 10 million people say, "You're a cunt, fuck off." So why would you do it? I don't get it. You're not getting the dopamine from people saying, "Oh yeah, I agree with you." You're getting perhaps reverse dopamine saying, "I hate you." I never understand it.
Might this not be something to do with Saudi not having a Pride Day?
It could be, yeah. It could absolutely be. I mean, look, they are not.
If it's personal to him on that level, maybe rather than political.
I'm sure it's not political. I think it's something to do with his lifestyle and the way the Saudi regime, because it is a regime.
LGBT communities go to Dubai. It's just illegal to practice. I don't understand.
I don't get it, but
if that's his principle anyway, on that, all right,
go for it.
I'll accept it. If anyone tries to paint it as human rights, the guy's just buggered off to Brazil. Human rights in Brazil. Brazil is a country that is heavily involved in narcos, heavily involved in child trafficking. The police are brutal, systematic discrimination. They take bribes. It's extreme social inequality. So when people start pontificating about, "Oh, I'm not going here because these are apparent. I'm not going to America because of Trump. I've seen that." Why? You can't control Luke.
Well, you're going to bump into him, is it?
I know.
No.
Exactly. You're not exactly going to have tea with him. You go and see the beauties and the friendliness of the American people.
I walked into Cat's Deli and there's fucking Trumps out there.
I know.
He's sharing pastrami on rye with Johnny Castro.
Oh, you know a story about him, don't you, John? Tell us. Yeah.
He sent me, God. We are dealing with virtue on absolutely astronomic levels. Why does he need to go in public and say it? Whatever he's got. Why? Just don't say anything.
And I think people like to, not just him, but I mean generally. I mean, you see some of the sort of odds checker mob going out, sort of saying, "Oh, I drove my German car with my, fucking Swedish wife and sat on my Swedish sofa and had my Indian curry, blah blah blah." And you think,
The world's passing me by here. Who's the odds checker?
well, these influencers that are sponsored by,
Sorry.
the usual lot that sort of peddles slop, right? And they're basically, one of their characters has come out and said, "Oh, we're happy to live in a diverse society." And I make no comment on that, but simply say, look how fucking socially aware I am. Look what a social justice warrior I am. My objection to all these people is, listen, if you've got a conviction, absolutely fine, but go and do something about it. People that say, "Oh, I stand with Ukraine." Well, you stand in England, not in Ukraine. If you're that bothered, fuck off to Ukraine and help them fight Putin. Oh, we don't fancy doing that? Well, shut the fuck up. And all of this is, people confuse sending spicy tweets with actual activism. They are achieving nothing. If you want to be a proper activist, and I've got a lot of respect for people that just get off their ass, get on the streets and start leafleting or trying to influence public opinion, sitting on Twitter typing how virtuous you are, that ain't it. I've got no respect for those people at all. So they deserve to get fucking hammered.
Yeah, I thought I'd release this because I'm sick of us getting either targeted by randomers, and especially the Racing Person. This happened a while ago when the Racing Post did a hit piece on the bar stewards. What happened was that Lee Motters had got in touch with the producer, wanted to verify that the story was true, that we had a sponsorship day at Thirsk, which we did in order to create engagement amongst people to further the project of the betting tax. So that's the truth. Apart from scones and vol au vents, Chris's sweetie shop.
I paid for them, 26 quid. Yeah.
There you go. There was not a lot gained from it in terms of what we got out of it. But they decided to do a hit piece anyway. And Lee Motters had lied to the producer on the phone. The producer was demanding where he had got the information from on this. And he said, well, it's on the internet. That was his answer. It's on the internet. So what we thought we'd do is, we thought we'd be clever. As usual, we did subject access requests to the Racing Post. And what came back is absolutely shocking. They've received documentation that should not be shared. It's illegal to share it. And it's illegal to write an article on the back of documentation that he's received without permission of said person, i.e. the producer. When we talk about morals and virtue, that's his morals. That's what he does. That's what he did to us. He wanted to create bad publicity. He wanted to create a pile-on or, whatever. Did the same to Chapman recently. And they're picking the targets. He's an industry shill because clearly he writes for industry. He's not interested in writing for racing and the future of racing. He's in industry's pocket. And I'll state that because you can tell by the articles and the style of them. This is a man that has no morals. When I see posts, it makes me sick. When I see either Calvin, Parsage speaking good about Motters, saying, "Oh, what a well-principled man." He has no fucking principles. He wanted to fuck us over, and he did it, despite us asking him not to. And he did it anyway, because that's what he does. So don't give me any shit that this man is some kind of, "Ooh, isn't he a good man?" He's not a good man. And that's
yeah, well said. Yeah, I mean, that's first we've heard of it, John, certainly, and I'm shocked that that's the case because, it wasn't a very nice piece. And, of course, what I object to most of all is not the fact that he's writing these articles, but he's punching down, isn't he? All of these other podcasts...
The very thing they accuse you
us
of doing to other people, he did the same to us. Yeah.
They can't get around the fact this is unfunded. We're not taking bookmaker money. We're not running a slick.
I'm going to say where we go punching down.
Not sort of a slick operation that's funded by bookmaker money. And so, what kind of, you'd think the industry paper would not necessarily be, supportive of us because they're entitled to their opinion, but you think they wouldn't be completely anti an unfunded group of people that simply have the best interests of the sport at heart. You think, well, what's the problem with that? It's almost as if the Racing Post doesn't have the best interests of the sport at heart.
Just to release further of how vindictive the man is, right? Further emails came in from the subject access request, and they wanted a picture of me to head the article.
Right.
Oh, nice.
They couldn't find one good enough.
Send them Ron Jeremy. Or so, yeah.
So that's how vindictive that was meant to be. They wanted me as a picture on the headline of the article, but they couldn't find one with resolution good enough. Or probably that I don't like shit.
Oh, the resolution was too high. Dial it down a bit.
There is a reason we do audio.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's horrible, isn't it? I mean, joking aside.
You want people reading the article and saying, "Oh, look at that poor bastard."
It would have garnered sympathy.
Leave him alone.
So if anyone thinks it wasn't vindictive,
Of course it was.
What's annoying is people like Chapman. Yes, Chapman's on the gravy train, but Chapman is positive for the sport, is he not? He says positive things about it. I'm not just sticking up for him, but he does. He's a positive outlet. Us as a podcast, we're always trying to help the sport in terms of, right, this is what we need to do. Or listen, we're trying to be energetic and ideas. And isn't it funny that the BGC and the industry want to bring us down? The industry wants us gone. The BHA would love us gone. And why is that? Because it's a heavy listen podcast for racing anyway. And a lot of what we say is close to the heart and the truth. And they don't like the truth. You can't handle the truth. That's the sort of take I get from the Motorhead things. I get sick to death of reading people on Twitter saying, "Well done, Lee Motorhead." What a load of shit. You have no idea about anything other than an online persona. You've never met the man. You've never dealt with the man. And now you're claiming that virtue is good. Load of bollocks.
Indeed. Well said.
You go, and we've every right to be angry because we had to go through it.
No.
None of you did.
You didn't.
But there you go. Yeah. So fuck off if you moan.
Although if they want to send me £2,000 a month, I'll say what a fucking cunt you are. And that cook on Sunday, I had the shits for 3 months after those recipes, John? So send money. I'll say anything for money.
Moss said send money, yes.
Yeah, send it to
money
me.
We'll praise you next
I'll
week.
say anything you want.
Absolutely. There you go. Andrew Rhoads has announced that he's leaving the gambling commission in April.
Good.
You say that.
Oh, right. Have I been caught by the Matrix then? Tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, he's been dreadful, obviously, for the game, as we know.
Yeah.
We can get worse.
We can. Can I announce my candidacy for the role then? Because I think they need me. What do you reckon? No,
well,
why not?
You're going to have to get purple hair.
I've got
some
that.
Chunky jewellery.
I have got all that. I can do that.
So you can do that.
Well, you see, man.
You can manage that. You're a prime candidate.
Really?
You could have somebody disastrous like Heather Wardle at the NHS, head of sort of like this operation at the NHS for addictive gambling.
Okay. Yeah, I know who you mean now, yeah.
So, again, you're going out the frying pan into the fire. The government are likely to choose somebody that proper safety.
You're going to get a civil servant, aren't you? By definition, you're not going to get a leader in the sense that you and I and John and practically everyone listening would understand the word leader. So you're going to get somebody there to maintain the status quo, because it's all politicians are in the game of containment, aren't they? They'll push the boundaries slightly, but fundamentally you've got to maintain the status quo, and that's their remit. So whoever you get, I think it doesn't really matter, does it? You're going to get either a slightly better candidate or slightly more personable candidate than Rhoads, or a slightly worse one, because I don't think you're going to see any seismic change from anybody, but perhaps I'm wrong. Maybe.
I'm very sceptical about this. It's one of them that we're never going to get an appointment that's going to suit British racing, support British racing, maybe turn things around and not just consider people that suffer gambling harm, but these poor punters can't withdraw the money because the bookmakers are asking for birth certificates and you name it, everything else before they can withdraw the money. And until you get proper regulation, you're going to get a sport run by cowboys, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, you saw that thing. I can't remember what it was. I think it was it was a joint initiative between who are they called? Begins with E. It was that sort of innovation in racing where all these tech bros pitched ideas to improve the health of British racing. You saw that article, the press release that the BHA put out this week, and I think we commented the fact that you can guarantee that not one of those people who pitched with these whiz-bang ideas has ever had a bet in their life, and I would take long odds on that that's the case. And you see, and this is what probably is the industry's enthralled to all these new whiz-bang ideas, and as we keep going on about it, they are neglecting their core support at the expense of these magic beans. because at the end of the day, none of these initiatives is ever going to affect positively the direction of travel of this sport whilst it relies on gross profits tax. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't matter how many apps you announce and how many invade days. If people cannot get a bet on and lose under the current model, the sport's doomed. And I just don't see anybody addressing that, really. Well,
100%. It literally is down to be able to get a bet on.
Yeah.
And that's it. If you're not allowed to bet, then there's no point in
You can pack
engaging with the sport.
race courses out. They could have bumper crowds week in, week out. But if people cannot bet under the current model, then fundamentally that's how the sport relies on its funding. It's irrelevant how many people, almost how you get through the doors of a racetrack on a day, if those people cannot wager reasonable sums of money in an unrestricted fashion. And and some of these young invade people, even if they do decide, hey, this is a sport for me, they will soon be caught up in affordability checks. Right? If at the moment they start showing any clue or any commitment to the craft of trying to pick winners, and then they're going to say, well, bollocks to this, I want £100 on, and they've offered me £8.67. What's the point? Forget it, do something else with my money.
We'll come on to that subject
sure.
now. So the subject of affordability checks obviously has affected British racing to such a degree that turnover has been in mass decline on the sport in the last 5 years or so. With that in mind, I want to know why, if we've got affordability checks in, why has racing turnover gone down heavily, but why has casino turnover gone up?
Well, gee, what could it be?
But you've got affordability checks, right? So if you're turning over more on slots where you're guaranteed to lose in the long term, guaranteed, why is that a blind eye that no one's actually looking at? The BGC will gaslight anyone, and they'll say, "Oh, well, it's because of this, that, and t'other." And affordability and people losing interest in betting on racing. Load of shit.
Boring.
People can't bet on racing because you are culling accounts.
Yeah.
You are gaslighting the betting public into thinking that casino play is more popular.
Yeah.
Oh, it's here in the stats.
Yeah.
Everyone wants casinos now.
Yeah.
When they don't, it's just the fact that people just cannot bet online on British horse racing.
Exactly.
SD says it's come racing now, I'm afraid, if you want bets on. That's it. On-course bookmakers or nothing. You've had it. I'm sick to death of the gaslighting from the BGC, from Big Corp. They're basically saying racing's losing interest.
No, it's not.
They've done exactly the same what they've done with greyhound racing.
They've engineered the crisis. That's it. They've engineered that crisis. It's completely artificial. And the idea that, okay, on course. People work. Well, if they're lucky enough to have a job, they're not going to be able to go and drive simply to get a bet on. It's too much aggro. You have to be either a professional or absolutely, a real kind of hardcore punter to take days off just to have a bet. And you're not going to do it. You're not going to bother, are you?
Now, coming on further to this, God, this does feel like the end game. It really does. Punters don't understand what this is, you better do. Paddy Power have been out in their shops here, teaming up with Clearstake, which is basically open banking, for shops to make verification frictionless and enhance your experience. Oh my God. So the open banking, to explain to any, is used for like large loans and or mortgages, right? This is sensitive financial data. Someone is going to have your data. I've no doubt Clearstake that's how they're going to make the money. Is going to have your data. It's bollocks this, because you're talking anti-money laundering. If it's a UK debit card, it's considered as clean money anyway. If you've got a UK debit card, the bank's authorising the transaction. So you don't need an AML check. It's bollocks. More gaslighting. This is absolutely disgusting. And any punters that take part in that, you absolutely need your bumps feeling. Open banking to have a bet with your own money. And what is this going to do to the levy? They're absolute varmints. If people cannot see this now and start defending Big Corp on this, I can't help you. You're absolutely gone. You do not give data like this to organisations. I mean, for example, PP are part of Flutter, yeah? Flutter's had a data breach. I've been contacted by ambulance chasing lawyers. If you've had a Betfair account in the last 5 years, send us type in your name and your email address. I can't, because obviously I don't want to lose my account. I don't want to lose my account.
I did say this many, many months ago that yes, and we were given some stick for it, and they're kind of right. Governments aren't brilliant at holding data particularly securely, but their track record is infinitely better than private companies. I mean, there are numerous firms around the country that specialise in these mass data breaches. you know, and they are, you know, private companies aren't the best at it. You know, they do their best, but fundamentally, your data isn't as secure as you might think it is. And day in, day out, I get emails saying, "Oh, your data, your password is listed on a breach for this," or "We apologise for this. There was a breach. We've now tidied it up." I mean, it's appalling, really. But that's what happens when you allow private organisations whose sole raison d'etre is to make money. That, you know, the security of your data is not their highest priority. Their highest priority is to make money. That's it.
Yep. John, this is terrible for the sport, isn't it? We're talking about levy reform, but all it seems Big Corp want to do, ARC want to do their own thing and bugger off, as we talked about last week. And Big Corp just want to do Big Corp things that is just anti-punter.
This is one of the reasons I've spent most of the week just absolutely boiling in my own skin, because of the absolute inertia from the BHA over this entire situation. We had, in November last year, Rachel Reeves presented her budget for the coming half year. Racing collectively got the champagne out because it had achieved what its Tax the Tax campaign was supposed to do, where there was no change in the rate of tax. So, as usual with racing, everybody starts slapping each other on the back and sucking each other's dick. When Reeves declined the opportunity to increase volksmaker tax on the sport, that should have been the catalyst for racing to get a team together to sort out the funding model. Because you couldn't go into this campaign rudderless like the BHA have done with a standing CEO. Things had to happen quickly, and they haven't. Now, I don't know what actual understanding of the situation there is at BHA HQ. In fact, I'm not completely understanding of how well the grass plain spoken English, to be honest. However, if they saw this as job done rather than a gilt-edged chance to move away from an immoral, unsustainable, ultimately corrupt method of funding that it actually is, they're making the biggest mistake since Hirohito said we can get another 5 years out of this in 1945. Since the budget, the only news we've had has been bad news. Lord Allen might be so pissed off he packs it in because he's been unable to gain any traction with his governance plans. No one wants to actually take up the cudgel, preferring to blame agreements that are about as legally binding as do not machine wash on your Christmas jumper. Someone needs to see the bigger picture and actually fancy themselves in a fight. We can't reasonably expect boatmakers just to carry on as previous. All the warning signs are there. They're pulling sponsorship, they're doing this. It is not far from the day where they will hold a gun to racing's head and say, we ain't bothered if we don't take another bet on horse racing. What are you going to do about that? And it'll be collective panic. Racing has to sort an income stream that is not connected to boatmakers in any way, shape, or be it sponsorship, be it a levy on bets that gets paid on when they're struck. It cannot be linked to boatmakers' profits and has to be independent of the boatmakers.
I agree with a lot of that. Just one last point. Bookmakers are important. I agree. What I'm saying is, I mean, you said the current funding model is not correct.
We're getting to a point, though, Lee, where they're going to go nuclear on this spot. They're testing the water now with what they're doing, pulling sponsorships and things. We know who they want in charge, and it's not the BHA and racing in general. They want to pull all the strings and use the sport as a catalyst to get everybody on slots because it's more profitable. And we can't have that. So the sport needs funding that isn't generated by boatmaker profits. Yep. It has to happen. If it doesn't happen, we're fucked.
We are, and it's going that way. We haven't got enough foals in stock to fulfill the current fixture list. Nowhere near. So,
well, again, the fixture list, once that tax situation was resolved, they should have took an axe to the fixture list. There should have been 30% of those fixtures withdraw every bit of BHA support. If they still want to go ahead with them, they find their own prize money.
Yeah, well said, mate. We move on. coming towards the end of the show, a few funnies, and the producer did a tweet this week, which was rather funny. She thought she'd rant at the BHA. Fair play to her, really. But she didn't, because she tagged Brian Hurt at Autosport in the tag, and poor Brian Hurt at Autosport will be thinking, fucking hell, who's all these replies coming from? So there you go. That's the producer. You let her have the Twitter feed for 5 minutes, and there we go.
You got a good advert on the show,
yeah,
you?
Brian Hurter Autosport.
Yeah.
There you go. Sponsors of the show,
go on,
Brian
big
Hurter.
Brian, get some
Send money.
Get your dough out. Come on, type.
Yeah. Come on, Brian Hurter. We'll follow Brian Hurter Autosport. Some other racing questions. Lord Bustish has been on with Dinning taking up a celebrity residency for 4 days on the recently acquired £325,000 Fitzdares pitch at Cheltenham. Is this the start of celebs standing as faces for books to increase business? And who's next, chaps? Kim Jong-un and Jeff Banks, the Cheeky Girls and Martin of Leicester. My idea was Jedward and Ben King.
Yeah, it could be a perfect match.
Any ideas? Any good celebs, John, that you'd like to see standing up at?
Kim Jong-un isn't right wing enough, is he?
Absolutely. Let us know, listeners, who'd be a good front for certain bookmakers on course to boost business. I think if Bar Stewards did it, we should get like Kelly Brook in.
Yeah, barstewardsbet.com. Yeah, fucking Anna Nicole Smith on Massive Jugs or Lola Ferrari. Remember that from Euro Trash?
Yeah. Can't be had now. Korak's been on, and he said the Star Sports incident. I hope I've got this right, because I haven't took any notice really. But a £15 winnings that was incorrectly settled as 150 something, if I'm right.
You had 15 quid on, and instead of putting 15 quid in, they also hit the 6 button as well as the 5 button, and it's gone in as 156.
Right.
So basically, they've got 10 times what they should have.
Right. Well, it's not the end of the world, that is it. It's not when bank staff cost him $3,000 at York the other year, like from a payout or something. You know, Korak's asked. He says, "Have you ever been overpaid or got given something in life by a glitch and acted daft and took it, blah, blah, blah?" I can tell you other way around. It happens on both sides. Me and John went to back Boy the Bell at Ripon in cash. When I got back, and obviously they're all wrapped up when you go and collect the bundles of cash. These were large stakes. You just stick it straight in trench coat. You're looking over your shoulder for any people following you.
Gadget, you look like that day, yeah. Expect the gadget.
Yeah, we got back and counted it, and we went down the line, so it weren't a case of betting with one book to get the money on. So it weren't a case of knowing which book did it. But one book, we paid on in crisp sterling notes, right? Crisp banknotes, right? And what did we get paid out in by some of them? Dirty Scottish shit.
Scottish 20s.
And not only that, in total, it was £80 short. Come on. It's just bollocks. Boo-hoo. Cry some more.
The deducted tip.
Yeah, no sympathy at all. It's a cost of doing business. It's not even a rounding error on that day's annual accounts. Who fucking cares? It's a rat. Don't give a shit.
Bollocks.
Don't give a shit. Don't give a shit.
You know,
couldn't care less.
Gary Cheesefinger's been on. Me and Mrs. Cheesefinger are in Malaysia having a week off. Nice. However, I've noticed on my X feed a lot of noise about the appalling variance of certain tipsters, notably Daryl Carter and the odds checker tipsters.
Yes.
It's horrendous. How long does a bad run not become variance? We run Bar Stewards, Early Bird and Edge, and it can be very precarious at times. I'd like to think my experience at running services for a long time stands in good stead, because I understand when punters need a winner and a cork needs to be popped in the hole, because punters invariably don't have the mindset to carry long losing runs, and that's just a fact. And to keep your client base, you have to sort of balance it with the kind of prices that you tip at. But varying, for example, and I don't mind admitting, my own personal betting last year, due to various reasons, off and on the pitch, and I lost last year betting for the first time in 7 years. So if you look at last year's, you call me an idiot because you say you've lost on a year. Variance is true, and it is infinite. Just because you've had a losing week or losing 2 weeks, there's nothing to say your next one's going to be losing as well. The skill is to try and keep a strong mindset and be reasoned and logical with your selections. I've seen Carter's got a lot of trolling on Twitter this week. I'm not really a fan of it because it can't make things any easier for him to read it. But then I suppose if you give it and boom bets and boom winners, which we tend not to, very often, you're probably going to fall foul when you do have that absolutely mare of a run, which is inevitable for every single person that bets in the game. I mean, people don't even understand variance that over 10,000 spins, Chris, if you were back in red and black, it is more than feasible to have a losing run of 12 in a row over 10,000 spins. Imagine if you tipped up 12 even money losers on bounce. You're going to be called biggest idiot on Twitter, aren't you? You know.
Yeah, but
So,
a lot of punters don't have proper bank rolls, do they? And you know,
no.
betting and what's the word, tipping are two different things, completely different.
They are. I can do my own stuff, and I can think, I'll back this in place. I'll do this. I can do this. I can do that. I can bet this without the fav. I can do a match bet. When you're tipping in the morning, they want a bet that's going to win.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they absolutely do. And their day is defined by it. A lot of people's day, whether you have a good day or a bad day, shit day at work is leavened. Your mood is leavened by the fact you've had a winner. You don't care if it was under the odds or whatever. You just want a winner. And so I think what Daryl Carter, and I agree with you. I mean, I think, you know, yes, he's having a mare of a run, and I think he'd probably be better served by being less vocal. Okay, I mean, he's obviously angry, and I think his problem is because he's got within his service a community which allows people to respond in real time to results, right? So it's like it's like a Twitter feed, you know, and I think that must be driving you mad because every time, oh, that's run shit, Daryl, fuck me, what'd you pick that for? You know, and that must be driving you mad. I think you'd be better off getting rid of that, focusing on picking winners, and then, you know, I think that's, but he's tried to create a community, and a community, you don't want real-time feedback because people don't understand the long game, do they? They don't get it.
I always say if you're a tipster, you've got about 6 bets to impress them. And if you don't do it in 6 bets, you're toast. That's how I see it. So look, that's what it is. Punters have got that attitude that they're paying you and you should be winning automatically every month without fail. And that's not how it works. Good question, Gary Cheesefinger. And I know you're a Patreon member, so thank you for the question and enjoy Malaysia. Right, couple of questions to finish. VW Horses and Cricket. Which TV shows of Dags gone by had the best theme tunes? He said the Sweeney is the best one. I'm going to come up with 3, if you like, that I like in particular, and it would be Long Good Friday, which is Francis Monkman. I used to like the Professionals one, and I used to like Blake's 7 theme tune. Maybe Veronica's Closet, because that had Moby doing it. That was a 1997 US sitcom. Moby and Rock You. Good title track. John, your favourite TV tracks?
Z-Cars.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Everton use that, don't they, for the...
One for Everton fans everywhere. Man in a Suitcase and Department S.
I've not heard that.
That's good, yeah.
I want to play that tonight. Chris, you?
I think the Sweeney outro, the soft one, I think it's really good. I think the Persuaders, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And I would say I Dream of Jeannie. That was a good one. Hugo, Buddy K Orchestra, Hugo Montenegro. I think that was quite nice. Yeah, so that's 3. They're my 3.
Okay, and just to finish, the producer she does weirder questions than Bert Doncaster these days.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she's getting quite dark.
Them fucking mushrooms you're slipping her. She's driving her mad, I think.
Yeah. John's been giving me some tips. She says, Lionel Richie, hello video. What the fuck is going off? Is it a bit rapey trying to get a blind girl?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, good question, that.
She's blind, obviously, you know. Hello, is it me you're looking for?
I haven't seen the video, so I feel ill-qualified to comment. Is it sort of a blind person he's trying to hop on with, or what?
Blind girl, yeah.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she makes a clear model of his cock, I think. From memory.
From memory, yeah.
That bombshell and that terrible finish. We hope you've enjoyed this show this week. There was lots to cover and feel we've done quite well at it. And we're back same time next week as always. And don't forget to support us on Patreon if you can, because it helps us a lot. And we Cheltenham previews coming up. 5 to follow for the flat. The flat season's getting warmed up. John gets warmed up in March. And so there you go. All to look forward to. Come and join us on Patreon. Bye for now.
Hello.